What do we have for Cancer? Seven of Wands, Leo energy at the foundation of the reading, and the Death card, Scorpio energy at the Sacral. Now, I feel that with Pluto transitioning into Aquarius, a lot of you are breaking free from outdated behavioral patterns and belief systems surrounding yourself and how you show up in your everyday waking life and reality. I feel that you're beginning to push back against what people have always deemed appropriate in your life, is what I just heard. Very interesting. So, in other words, you're no longer allowing other people's ideas of who you should and shouldn't be to hold you back. The Seven of Wands at the foundation is speaking about all of this because it's you really now taking a stand, defying any of these energies that are standing in your way. People that are vibrationally beneath you at this point because they have decided that they're not going to put the hard work into elevating and meeting you where you're at. Instead, they're going to stay on that lower vibrational timeline and continue to try and pull you back down. See, you Cancers are always dealing with people that are criticizing you, criticizing your growth. But Cancer, people who are doing more than you won't waste their time criticizing you. You're also getting to a point where you are realizing that even in your adolescent years, you've always been in environments where love was kind of conditional. It was always based on what you can provide for that other person. A lot of you Cancers have spent a lifetime molding yourself into what you thought other people wanted from you. And this is exactly what the Death card at the Sacral is speaking about. Scorpio energy. So now we have this transformative energy coming through, indicating that you are beginning to reclaim your power, push past these limiting mindsets, and truly reclaim your position in this life cycle. That's a big statement, but that's where I feel you're all at now, Cancer. I feel that a lot of you are beginning to understand that you're here for a reason, a very specific reason. And a lot of these weapons that have been formed against you, and a lot of these restrictions that have been placed on your path, have been systematically crafted to keep you off said path to discovering what your mission and purpose is here in this life cycle. The restriction, this force you've been dealing with, whether it's principalities, whether it's individuals external to you, friends, family members, exes, what have yous, whether it's environmental, all of that can be reduced to one single force that has been trying to keep you out of discovering your purpose. Your purpose all has to do with the battles that you have had to fight in your life. You understand now that overcoming these battles, overcoming these restrictions and these weapons that have been formed against you is actually the reason why you're here. You had to go through the war only to come out the other end armed with a certain sense of wisdom that you can now utilize moving forward on your destined path in alignment with your true north. I'm a strong believer that our greatest struggles in life are always going to be connected to the reason why we're even here. It makes so much sense to me. And I've seen this play out in my own life. No matter how much darkness may be consuming your life in the current moment, depending on where you are in accordance with this timeline, a way out is but a prayer away, is always there waiting for us to remember that everything that we come against in this life cycle is working to get us to forget about that hope. Remembering is half the battle. The other half is reaching up and grabbing onto that hand from the divine that is always waiting on standby to pull you out of whatever darkness may be consuming you. Again, I'm not just saying this, it's tried and true. I've seen this happen in my own life. I've seen it happen in other people's lives. But before it happened in my own life, it seemed far-fetched. But I think that what you begin to understand is, Cancer, there's nothing truer, which is the reason why we must question everything, Cancer. Don't take anybody's word for it. You got to go out there and discover it on your own. Now is the time to really ask yourself, what are some fears that are no longer serving you, Cancer? At least once a week, I'll make a short list of the things that I fear. Sometimes when I focus on doing this, I write down things that I wasn't even consciously aware of. They were existing on a deep subconscious layer, but they just kind of come out and present themselves to me in a word. And 100% of the time, every time I look at that short list, I realize that the things I have listed are nothing that I need to fear. I quickly start to understand that A lot of those things are basic fears that most of us deal with inside this third density. But just the mere act of doing this can serve as a kind of checking in with your higher self. Sometimes we have things that creep in that we don't even know are there. We become so focused and we become so overwhelmed with our day to day that it becomes difficult to see what has jumped on for the ride. But if I was to summarize what the Seven of Wands and this Death card are representing in your life right now, Cancer, it speaks about you stepping into new territory, even if others don't understand, and that you need to let go of approval so you can actually embrace your authentic evolution of self. Two of Swords, Libra energy on the bottom of the deck. Nine of Pentacles, Eight of Swords. So this is further reiterating what we're saying here. Right now, a lot of you are at this sort of crossroads energy. You haven't quite stepped into the new timeline. The universe is just presenting you with this right now. Hey, Cancer, we're ready to rock. What do we have? The solar plexus. Eight of Wands, Sag energy at the solar plexus. So there's a lot of movement inside your energy, Cancer. I'm really not surprised by that, but perfect card to have come out because the sun is going into Sag right now, which is bringing this sort of adventurous and expansive energy. This is really encouraging you to get into the energy of exploration and embracing these new perspectives, which obviously aligns with the Sagittarian energy of wisdom and growth. And this is coming out at the solar plexus position, which is all about you regaining your personal power and you taking control of your life. I'm also hearing something about the need to cut away from people that leave you feeling very exhausted and empty. We are in these interesting times where one interaction can leave you feeling completely depleted or reinvigorated. It's almost as if there's no gray area at the moment, which really speaks about only entertaining energies that serve some sort of a purpose in your life. That almost sounds a little bit extreme. It sounds kind of serious, but that's what I'm picking up here. And I do actually agree with that. I know that at times we should just be a little bit more easy and lighthearted, but because we have Pluto transitioning into Aquarius, this is a very explosive energy, about as serious gets when it comes to considering the astrology at current. It's like every ounce of your energy needs to be directed toward you reevaluating certain power dynamics in your life and getting more focused on what your role is in your community or collectively. And I just heard very clearly, okay, everybody to their stations. It's time for liftoff. And I feel that that summarizes what I'm feeling here, Cancer. You really need to rethink a lot of relationships in your life right now, Cancer. Are they based on habits or are they based on true emotional exchange? You must let go of any sort of people pleasing so you can allow space for individuality. You know, when we're constantly people pleasing, and we've all done this before, but we just all want to be accepted. We just all want to be loved. We want to all feel like we're a part of something. It's wired into us. It's a part of the human condition, but it can't be at the expense of who you really are. Don't sacrifice that for anybody. And take note of anybody who would allow you to do that and remove yourself from that environment immediately. Any space where you're not able to be, whose spirit needs you to be, energetically speaking, is enemy territory. What do we have at the heart, please? Two of Swords, Libra energy at the heart. Okay, so this follows what I said perfectly. This Two of Swords is speaking about two options that are being presented to you by the universe at current. There's the path that you've always been on. Let's say that path is you showing up the way that everybody else wants you to show up, sacrificing your individuality, however that looks for you. And then there's the path that the divine has actually willed for your life that aligns you with your mission as a means to fulfill your destiny in this life cycle. This path sees you being exactly who you were always meant to be. You're no longer sacrificing anything to appease or humor another. And to reiterate, you are now armed with the discernment and the knowing that those that would allow you to do this are extensions of an opposing force that is trying to keep you from said mission and destiny. You know, I always speak about people in our lives being extensions of the devil, right? The devil works through them to keep us off path. And this is one of those moments. I truly believe that all of us deal with this pretty much in our everyday waking life. It's just how this world is built. Some of the hardest truths that we have to come to terms with in our lives is accepting that some of our loved ones are these extensions, whether they know it or not. And when you start to understand how this could happen, it begins to make much more sense. Because all you have to do is really lean in and look at how some of these people live their lives. The way you move in your everyday waking life determines whether you are on the positive or negative side of the vibrational scale. Every behavioral pattern feeds one side or the other. Now, none of us are perfect, but you need to be self-aware. Self-awareness will get you further than most in this current life cycle that we are in, because let's face it, most people are too weak to be self-aware. Most people can't stand the sight of having to look at their reflection in the mirror, not because of the physical image that stares back at them, but the spiritual knowing of what they've become. There's a heavy message here of indoctrination, and I feel that you are starting to recognize where this may have existed in your own life, Cancer. You know, I heard this saying the other day. What's the difference between spirituality and religion? Religion is for people who are afraid of going to hell. Spirituality is for people who have already been there. People will blame you for everything that's going wrong in their life, Cancer, because they see you doing well and don't understand why they're not in your shoes. They've become so disillusioned and so self-entitled inside their own little bubble that they fail to see the full spectrum of what may be taking place in their life. They are walking, talking contradictions, and everybody can see it but them. What do we have at the throw, please? Six of Swords in reverse, right across that Seven of Wands and Death card. Interesting. The Six of Swords is also Aquarius energy. Wow, this is the energy I just picked up on. Here they are, trying to block you from moving forward because they refuse to look at themselves in the mirror and put in the necessary work to meet you where you're at. This is an if I can't have it, neither can Cancer. Six of Swords upright is your rite of passage. In reverse, it's them trying to stand in the way, trying to overload you with baggage, however that looks for you in your dealings with these individuals. I'm also hearing something here for a group of you out there that may be at odds with yourself. This is actually very common. Your higher self is trying to help elevate you, and your lower self is engaged in a game of tug of war. Now, it's not difficult to see how this may show up because that can really speak about behavioral patterns, mindsets, things that can be deemed as you holding yourself back, you being your own worst enemy. So place the message as it fits. But Spirit is here to help you overcome this right now, Cancer. And it's not to say that the support to overcome this wouldn't be there in the future, but you have to think of the astrology as a forecast. Astrology is telling us what energies support us in what areas of our life in a moment. If you look at each planet and the energy that it emanates as being supportive, you can see how when one planet is further away from us, it can be a little bit more challenging to harness the support from that influence. When it's closer, we can see how its energy can be much more stronger. But now's a great time to really think outside the box in terms of your long-term goals, Cancer. Revolutionize your visions. And that phrase right there, I feel for you, tells you everything you need to know about the energies at current. However you can place that into your current timeline, do it. What if you could actually align with your calling? What if that vision could become a part of your reality? This is the season for this kind of mindset. Stay away from the mindsets of the yesteryears, the mindsets that want you to hold on to the past, the mindsets that want you to remain inside a little box that they created for you. Release ruthlessly what isn't serving you and make way for the new. What do we have at the third eye? Seven of Swords across that Seven of Wands and Death card. Six of Swords, Seven of Swords. Unbelievable. And the way both of them fell out at the same position. There's some sort of underhanded energy here, Cancer, that is really making itself known in this energy. But the fact that it's walking into this trap, right? As it's trying to see if you're noticing. What if Cancer will notice? They never, ever noticed before. but it's like you're catching this energy. You're seeing something in a way that you haven't seen it before, or you're finally ready to accept something. And this is all after this Two of Swords, accepting the truth and stepping on to the path that the divine has willed for your life moving forward from this point. This is the end of a major karmic cycle in your life. It's one of these energies where if you take the path you've always been on or just remain on that path, it sort of takes you on this winding detour. It makes it look like you're moving forward, but then all of a sudden you're right back here, but maybe several years down the track. That's what a karmic cycle feels like. You eventually wind up exactly where you were years before. I know I've been here before. Why does it feel like my life is this repeating nightmare? I mentioned in one of the readings recently that it's sort of like when you see those movies where there's somebody inside a haunted house and they run for the front door to escape the haunted house. And as they step out the front door, they end up in a room in the back of the house. And then they go through another door and they're in another room. They can't get out. That's what this feels like. Once you start to see it, you start to realize that you've been living inside of a certain kind of hell, a certain kind of a nightmare. And this is what the Seven of Swords speaks about, because there's a realization of this now. The universe is encouraging you to break free from this. And it's not easy, Cancer. It's hard, because like I said, some of the hardest things you'll go through in your life are coming to terms with who some of these people that have been in your life really are. Those family members. There's nothing more heartbreaking than realizing that people you thought loved you by default are actually your mortal enemies. And Cancer, I just got an intense ringing in my left ear as I was saying that to all of you. Very high-pitched, to be honest. It almost sounded like a fallen angel screaming. And I feel that this happens when I'm delivering a message that is received by its intended target somewhere out in the collective. One of you may hear that, and a light bulb just goes off in your head. It allows you to break free of a situation you may be in. And who knows what greatness breaking free from that energy aligns you with. This is one of these moments when I feel grateful for being able to deliver these messages to all of you, because I understand the impact that they provide in a lot of your lives. They're profound. And though I'm sitting here channeling this to all of you, I'm just the messenger. The profound nature of these messages also has an impact on me. What do we have at the crown, please? Empress. Libra, Taurus, Venusian energy. Perfect. A lot of you are breaking family patterns that have really limited your freedom, Cancer. Now is a great time to really start thinking about the stories from your lineage that need to be rewritten. Black sheep energy. It all makes sense now. And I really feel this Empress at this crown position is also asking you to really open your heart beyond any sort of familiar patterns or boundaries. Really explore how your emotional security is connecting to your environment and the collective at current, and how all this inner healing can help others. This is what this is all about. It's always what it's all about, how we can help others. Because when we truly start to understand that this is really what we're down here to do, is to help guide, we also come to the realization that we too are being guided. We are all an incremental part of the evolutionary chain of life. We are all but a link, like DNA strands fluttering underneath the universal breath of God's love. The Empress to me always represents Mother Nature. There's a oneness to it. Male or female, it's also the most attractive energy in the tarot. So this is how you, Cancers, are now showing up. You've arrived. You've stepped into this space that was once an almost unattainable dream, desire, fantasy. See, all of those things, they're actually meant to be a part of our everyday waking life. Everything before we are surrounded by said energy is the actual illusion, is the actual dream, or in some cases, bad dream. Just depends on what you are dealing with in your current set of circumstances. That's what an awakening feels like. You feel like your conscious awareness is now interfacing with the reality that Spirit had always willed for your life. I wish I could put into words the feeling of going through that situation, but it's almost unexplainable. I try sometimes to give you guys some insight into my experience and how it felt. But I feel I'm not able to do it justice because the feeling is just so outside of words. But something tells me that a lot of you are beginning to understand exactly what I mean. It's also one of these sort of feelings that you think you can try and explain, and then as soon as you open up your mouth, you fumble on an idea of what you thought you were going to say. That says it all, right? What do we have at the foundation, please? Two of Swords, Halifax. So we have Two of Swords twice now. And this is coming out right underneath the Seven of Wands. So this is representing the path that you have always been on, but it's appearing a little different this time. Whenever I get this card, it's almost like a greasy salesman, right? They act like they're sticking their neck out for you. In the way they want to shake your hand, but they're only offering up 3 fingers. So I don't know, it seems kind of insincere. I mean, if he's only working with 3 digits, then can't really fault him for that. But I feel like he's got more than 3 digits to work with here. So what I'm trying to say is, Cancer, there's this very insincere offer I feel coming through where somebody, something, or even your own negative self-talk is trying to hold you back from stepping into this new beginning. And the fact it's coming out right underneath the Seven of Wands is representing this energy that wants you to give up. Now, if this is your own negative self-talk, it's you basically thinking that you're disadvantaged or you don't have what it takes. Something along these lines. Place it as it fits. What do we have at the Sacral, please? Wow. The Hermit, Furcus. Now, further emphasizing this message. This Hermit from this deck is somebody who's going the opposite way from their true north. Now, as we can see here, the left-hand path, there's a horse, right? Let's say that left-hand path is the path you've always been on. But there's something different about it. It's almost as if it's been dressed up to look like the correct path this time. And then look, here you are on this horse. Horse is looking beat, right? Can barely hold you up. You're just aging out. Grown this long beard. I mean, male or female, right? And something that I have noticed is that when you are not on your correct path, you will start to age out. You'll start to look different. You'll start to look in the mirror. It's almost like you can't recognize yourself. Everything just becomes a little less attractive. Let's just say that, Cancer. But when you start to align with your true north and you have that divine light flooding in, you'll notice you start to look different. You start to look more youthful. Maybe you have some ailments that begin to just clear up. And this is what this Empress represents. I mean, these are essentially the 2 paths, right? What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Lovers, Gemini energy at the solar plexus. So it's like this greasy offer comes through, right? Kind of dressed up, making it look like something's different, or tries to present itself as being supportive, so to speak. But then it quickly goes back to how it once was. And that's when you find yourself in that space, like I mentioned earlier on in the reading, about you winding up right where you've already been. I know I've been here before, right? That kind of energy. And this is what I get with this Lover's card. This Lover's card from this deck is just representing the overall energy, which is speaking about a lot of discord and just an overall energy of regret. This is an energy of having misaligned values with maybe it's people around you. It can be an energy of disharmony as well. But it goes back to what I mentioned about your vibration, right? It's either feeding the positive side or the negative side. Every behavioral pattern, every action. I just heard that for a lot of you, this energy that I'm picking up on is going to be tempting. It could quite literally be a toxic individual from your past or that maybe you're trying to break free of now. presenting themselves in a favorable way as a means to pull the wool over your eyes and re-engage you in this karmic cycle. Though this is all a part of your path, the only way to put purpose and meaning behind all of this is to release it once and for all. Because in doing so is you accepting the mission. And then right on the bottom of the deck, look who decided to show up to the party. The devil, Moloch, right? He's like, wait, Cancer. Come on, just stay here. I have some treats I can give you. Just hang around. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll have a party. It'll be different this time around. Right, and look what it says there. Makes one worse off than ever before. Tricks mortals into being bound. Okay? So exactly what I'm picking up here. And this devil energy, it's working through whoever this is here. That's how this works. It's not the literal devil showing up. The devil has extensions of himself. The devil has tentacles that go out into the collective and possess people, so to speak. And the way the possession is able to solidify itself in people goes back to what I said about integrating certain behavioral patterns into your life. Those behavioral patterns can become all-consuming. So this is why it's very important, again, to be very self-aware. Catch yourself, right? We're always going to slip. We as humans are imperfect. That's okay. But if you can catch yourself, then you will always win your battles. What do we have at the heart, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the heart, please? Ah, wow. Six of Swords again. So we have it twice. Says right here, dangerous writings, okay? Now, immediately when I read that, and I saw the Six of Swords at the throat in reverse, which represents the same energy as this, because I read this Six of Swords in its negative polarity, essentially a reversal. Because these are demons. They're the negative polarities. They're the principalities, energies that are working against you. So we're kind of doubling down on this energy. But there's an emphasis on you communicating something. And, generally speaking, when you put meaning and purpose behind this kind of struggle, it's not uncommon to see people push forward, maybe write a book or help other individuals on their path, right? So communicating something. And this energy is trying to stop this happening at all costs. And this is a warning right here. Again, they're really emphasizing this here, okay? It's like you go down the wrong path, and then here you are, right? Back in the karmic cycle, feeling stuck and not able to move forward. And there's also something about this energy. I feel that this message is going to really resonate with a lot of you out there. It's like somebody saying, I'll be different this time, right? Like we saw that devil. And they're not lying. They are most certainly different, but not better. It's like they're a whole lot worse. It's like somebody who tries to escape another individual. They're almost gone, right? Right there. And then all of a sudden, a person comes through and just really plays on their emotions, pulls them back into a really dark situation and just doubles down on their horrible treatment of that person. So I don't know who needs to hear that out there. I know that you're all dealing with different situations, but don't go back, all right? They've had more than enough opportunities to do the right thing and be a good person, man or woman, okay? If you go back this time, you only have yourself to blame. And then on this side of the card, we have the Hermit, alchemy and transformation, amazing. So we have the Hermit in its negative polarity here. And then we have the Hermit here going the right way, okay? Negative, positive. Angel, demon. North node, south node. In alignment, out of alignment. Right-hand path, left-hand path. So I think you get the point. But this Hermit is really speaking about the need for inner guidance if you're feeling confused or if you need some support. And clearly, we can see that it's here for you, Cancer. Some of you are so consumed with what is going on inside your everyday waking life that you can't really stop to take a breath and focus. but you really need to try. Get into solitude if you can. Get rid of that mind traffic so you can hear the divine communicating to you regarding how you're to move at current. And this is right underneath this Two of Swords. I just heard as well, don't make any impulsive decisions. From this point forward, every decision you're making should be taken to your higher self first. How do you do this? Find yourself in peace where nobody can disturb you. Meditate until you feel a sense of peace wash over you. When you feel that peace wash over you, that will be your sign that the mind traffic has began to dissolve. And the purpose of this is to create space for the download, for the guidance. I always say that you should think of your mind as a kind of trash can, right? We got to take out the trash, all that garbage that we pick up on the day-to-day. Why do you think our environments are constructed the way they are? We're constantly being bombarded, which makes it very difficult for us to make decisions. Two of Swords energy, information overload. Okay? This is exactly what this Two of Swords stacked with Hermit is speaking about. What do we have at the throat, please? Page of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the throat. Unbelievable. This is a very profound reading because of the way the cards are finishing my thoughts and messages, confirming that what we're picking up here is right on the mark. This energy here is an energy that's all talk, no action, right? Oh, come on, Cancer. It'll be different this time. I promise. And look, and then there they are, right? Ha, gotcha. Like they've got your head there, right? But as we can see with this Page of Swords, you've shut it down. You're on a new timeline. Whenever I see this card, it's like that's the enemy, whoever that is to you. They've got their mouth wrapped up so they can't say anything, and they're looking at you. It's like you're on a poster, or this is just some sort of portal, a way that they can see you on this new timeline, in your energy, right? In your power. They've been completely disarmed. And it says right here, governs dreams. Okay, so this goes back to what I said about your dreams becoming your conscious reality, right? It's like waking up from one day to the next and you're on this timeline. You're still here, right? But everything has changed. Everything has been arranged. All of a sudden, the problems of the past are gone. All of a sudden, opportunity is knocking, so to speak. You just feel lighter and in alignment. That's what timeline jumping really is. But it requires specific decisions to be made on your part to get there. And this is one of these times, because of the astrology, that the decisions that you make in the here and now to self-empower are going to elevate you higher than you have ever been. And then again, right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit, right? So we see that, well, 3 times really, but the supportive Hermit, we see it twice. What do we have at the third eye, please? 7 of Pentacles. Taurus energy right underneath that 7 of Swords at the third eye. The lovely God, discernment, general prosperity, the deliverance of prisoners. And see how you have your wings and you have a lantern. It's almost as if you're going down a path you haven't been down before. This is why you need the lantern. And this to me feels like this right-hand path. And this 7 of Pentacles is also speaking about this vision that you have for yourself. The divine wants you to invest into this now. Now's the time is what I just heard very clearly. Those hopes, those dreams, those visions, those true heart's desires, those fantasies, whatever it is, it's time to go towards that. However, be grounded in reality. Okay? When I speak about going towards these things, they're typically going to represent paths that are in alignment with your highest good and the highest good of all. Things that allow you to help serve the collective. Cancer, you need to really start preparing yourself for the best, okay? There's a lot of positive changes that are here for you, but you really have to make a few decisions in the here and now to be able to embrace this change, okay? The help has already arrived. It's up to you now to meet the divine halfway. What do we have at the crown to close this out for Cancer, please? Nine of Wands, Sag energy at the crown to close out the reading. God, the impenetrable secret, universal medicine, elevation of the soul, and the revelation of mysteries. Perfect. So this Nine of Wands here is representing you persisting forward despite any of these setbacks and keeping and maintaining boundaries with this energy. I mean, I would go ahead and say that it goes beyond just keeping a boundary. This is a full cutoff, okay? Because this energy here feels all-consuming. It doesn't even feel like an energy that you could entertain in any way, shape, or form, because it would be too detrimental to where you're going on this new timeline. And remember, because of your free will, though the divine is here for you right now to help elevate you into this new timeline, you say the final word. But hopefully, this message should be a confirmation for you of what you can look forward to, as well as what you need to be aware of during these massive changes that are unfolding in all of your lives. Cancer, this is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations, Cancer. Take care.